What's up guys, this is Super7 back for another action figure review, and today we're continuing coverage of Super7 TMNT Ultimates Wave 3, and this is Rocksteady, the big bad villain of the wave, and also completing the duo that was started with Bebop in the previous wave. Very excited to get this guy open. As you can see, brown slip cover, or I should say shipping box, that's outside of the figure for the presentation. On the back it's plain, just some barcodes and such. And opening that up, it reveals the Rocksteady slipcover packaging. This is done in purple because he is a villain, and the custom sewer grate, like we get with every character, the face in the middle and the weapons of choice on the side. Flip it around to the back, you're getting the TMNT logo, nice green contrast against the purple there. But the real meat, like I said with Michelangelo, is when you lift this guy up, the slip cover is off, and there's the window packaging into the figure. And Rocksteady is not playing around, filling up the whole box just like Bebop did. I'm sure there's some reuse going on, similar scale already, I can tell. And then you see some of the weapons. Some great brick detail and graffiti on this box. And then on the back, Rocksteady, the Mutant GI Mauler and Shredder's #1 thug. And there's a bio, you can pause if you want to read that. But I'm excited to get this big beefy boy open, so let's go ahead, let's take him out, and let's take a look. And here is Rocksteady out of the packaging. And for accessories, we do get, of course, the pair of grip hands on the figure, the alternates being a pair of fist hands. For his weapons, he's got his large Foot Clan rifle. Then he's also got a knife, which is similar or might be the same that we got with Bebop. He's also coming with 3 grenades, and I thought maybe these would attach to the belt somewhere, but I can't really tell if they do. You can kind of just hold them in his hands, but they are very tiny in those big hands. And then he's also got, again, similar to Bebop, but I think this is slightly different. This is the sewer cap shield. And then all of those weapons are included on a gray weapon sprue as an homage to the old school figures where you just had the one color plastic. So not as many accessories as the Turtles and some of the previous figures in this line, but what you're getting in return for that is a massive, ridiculously sized figure like we saw in the opening. He took up the whole box. He's the reason why the box is so big, to accommodate for these size characters. Go ahead and bring in a turtle and you could see that this dude is definitely a threat to these guys. And that's what I love about this line, because not only is it taking these toy designs and really taking those 90s designs but putting them in a modern figure, but we're also getting a really good sense of scale in this line that we never had before. The original Playmates figures, they're all basically the same size. Obviously some were slightly different, but they all are in that, 5.5 inch scale. But in this case, you got Rocksteady here, who's probably over 8 inches tall, versus the Turtles, who are around 6 inches, and everything in between. So really like that. It's almost going to be hard to review just because of the size of this guy. We're going to maybe bend him down a bit. I want to get a look at the head sculpt here, because really incredible stuff. Now, you don't get any alternate expression, and I don't think the jaw articulates. It almost looks like it might. There's a gap here that's actually hidden by his helmet, but I think that's just the way the figure, the sculpt, is assembled. But no jaw articulation. Maybe that would have been nice, but also would have taken away from the sculpt. But really super menacing and scary and detailed, and you have a nice wash over everything to bring out all those details, the little wrinkles and warts all over the skin. And when you compare this to the cartoon design, this is really a lot more sinister, a lot more villainous than he is in the cartoon. I'm getting ahead of myself, but here's the NECA cartoon figure. You can see even the eye color. This is like orange and green. Again, very sinister, very menacing. Here it's just kind of ridiculous looking. But again, that's different styles. The cartoon was, toned down from the original comics and toys for that reason, to make it more marketable to kids. But getting the original design but revamped by Super7, you really get a big bruiser figure. And he's also got the helmet that we don't see on the cartoon, and that has a really nice metallic color to it. It's not ridiculously shiny, but it is there. And then there's a wash over that, a nice brown wash. And that looks like it might be removable, but it is glued on, and you can see there's sort of a peg there. So you aren't going to be able to get an unhelmeted version. Maybe that's what they could have done for an alternate head. Last time with Bebop, it was just alternate colors, but I could see why they didn't do it here. And speaking of, we'll bring in Bebop for a second here. You can see they're both around the same height, and I was thinking we might see some reuse here, but looking at it, I don't think that's the case. Even the hands, despite being more or less the same, they do look like they got totally different textures and everything. You can definitely tell the sculpts are derivative of each other, but also very different. Even when you get to his tank in the middle here, it's got a nice texture to it. Maybe a bit large for the scale, but I'll take that texture over no texture. And then you just see all sorts of warts and wrinkles all over the skin here. Even I love on the wrist, there's a little bit of a stapled kind of a stitched up effect going on there. There's his watch, his gauntlet, and then this side has, looks like some bullets or some missiles in a black color. The belt here is where we're seeing the turtle armor on Bebop, if you remember, is some large turtle shells on the shoulders. Here, they're just dangling at the sides, but at least we know this dude's been killing some turtles on his time as well. And then we got a nice brown pair of pants with a camo design over it. And here I think it's detailed enough. It's simple, but it still gets the job done. It still goes with the rest of the figure. And I think because of the muted color scheme, this is one of the more, like I said, sinister, intimidating looking figures of the line. You could say the same about Bebop, but he's got the pinks and the greens and the reds. This dude is business. He's brown and black and gray. And that's the same thing for the boots down here. I don't know what this kind of is going on here. There's something over the boot and then wrapping underneath. The boots are black underneath, but then there's this, leather piece over it. Almost reminds me of kick pads from a wrestling perspective, but obviously that's not what it is. But overall, sculpt, paint, that's going to be the specialty of a Super 7 Ultimates figure, if not the accessories. And again, I'm having trouble even fitting him in the frame here, but going over articulation, the head is going to look up that far, down that much, and it goes side to side and rotates all sorts. You can go up that far, so if you want to get him into like a charging position, this guy's going to be hard to display. His head is so massive, better at its profile, but it's hard to display like that, so keep that in mind for photography and display purposes. Straight on, you're not even going to see his eyes really. Torso, there is a swivel. At the shoulders, there's no cut. We are just getting a shoulder hinge and a swivel, but again, like I said, no bicep, similar to Bebop as well. I guess for these larger characters, they're opting out of that, and that's fine. I don't think these guys need to move around as much as, say, the Turtles, but still, it would have been nice. Single elbow is not very good, but again, you could say the same for Bebop. These sculpts are very similar. Despite them being unique, there is just a lot of similarity in terms of the construction of them. The legs can go up pretty far, and again, same with Bebop. These are just a little loose for my liking, and originally, when I had Bebop posing up, he was falling over a lot. I think I've hit a sweet spot and I know where to pose these guys, but still, you're gonna maybe see these guys be a bit top heavy and fall over more than your average figure. And then the knees are almost 90 degrees, and there is a bit of rotation there as well. And then a beautiful ankle rocker, which I do give this line props for, and then a hinge at the foot. And also, I'm forgetting the wrist. That's going side to side and rotating. And overall, that does do it for Rocksteady, so let's go ahead and let's do some comparison. And before we did anything with the other Super 7 figures, I did want to bring in the Toon Rocksteady. When I had Bebop reviewed a couple months ago, I didn't actually have this set, but in the meantime, I found this set at Target, so I have the Toon versions of these guys. And there's really just a different design philosophy with both of these designs. Here he's big, scary, mean, militarized, and in the cartoon, not so much. He's got the bright yellow, his belly's sticking out, the face is a little goofy, and in that cartoon, Bebop and Rocksteady definitely were not as imposing and scary as maybe they should have been. But I'm not going to knock it for that. Different times and different audiences. This is a kid's show after all. But I do prefer this version of Rocksteady. This dude looks like he would eat him for breakfast. Then I'll put the camera back a bit. We'll put him next to his partner in crime, Bebop. And I love this comparison. I love that they're about the same size. Maybe Bebop is a bit larger, actually, or at least wider. Maybe it's just those turtle shells. But either way, love the size, love the scale here. I think Bebop's maybe a better figure. He's a bit more exciting. But both of these guys look great together, and they're going to look great opposing the Ninja Turtles. And then here he is alongside his contractors, the Foot Clan. Here's the Foot Soldier and Shredder. And again, a really nice scale in this line. So you got more human-sized characters with these two, and Rocksteady, the big brute behind them. And then finally, here he is with the Turtles we have so far, Mikey from yesterday's review, and then Wave 1 and 2's Raph and Leo. And overall, that is going to do it for the review of Rocksteady from Series 3 of TMNT Ultimates. And this line really just keeps getting better and better. And how fun is it to kind of recreate the original line? And, you have new characters coming out, but it's only every 6 months and takes a while to get them. So when you do, it feels special, and it feels like you're making a really nice universe of Ninja Turtles. I do love the NECA line, the movies and the cartoons, all that, but I think this is really the best version of the Ninja Turtles in toy form that we're getting so far, and figures like this are a reason for that. So definitely gets my review. If you see this guy in stock at Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, definitely pick him up before he becomes impossible to get. I'm sure even years down the line, the Bebop and Rocksteady are going to be sought after, and maybe we'll get different variants, but these are the originals. These are the classic costumes, so definitely jump on this. As always, I'll leave it up with some figure photography, and you can see my library on Instagram, scoopman_5000. Stay tuned because we still got Metalhead and April O'Neil to review. You can check out the Mikey review if you didn't see that already. And otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next action figure review.